know, there's a new survey by Wells Fargo that finds that 37% of Americans say they don't ever expect to retire. They say, well, they're just going to have to keep working until they're just too sick or dead. And the same study finds that 34% of Americans believe they're going to have to work well into their 80s because they just can't save enough money to retire earlier. Oh, that sounds like good news for our next guest. Cue the organ music. The Grim Reaper, Scott Page, CEO of Lifeline, is back. You know, when they make the movie version of you, well, it would have been good if Vincent Price was around, but maybe the movie version of Vincent Price, you can play the role. But Scott, we always kid you because you make money off death or betting on death or whatever. But this is a pretty alarming stat that most people think they're going to work until the day they actually kick the bucket.
You know, it is alarming, and I'm hoping that Americans are going to use this as a wake-up call. You know, the Wells Fargo study is quite interesting, but Lifeline's research indicated, and we polled individuals 65 and older, but we found that over 50% felt that they were going to have to continue to work until they got too sick or they absolutely died, or until they finally died. And it's unfortunate because all of this could absolutely be avoided if someone would just step forward and set forth a plan. We have a few recommendations for making a plan. The first thing we believe anyone should do is get some type of an estimate on how long they're going to live. There are some great tools on the internet, unlike the government website, but if you were to Google life expectancy calculators, you can actually get an estimate as about how long you can live.
Okay.
The Lifeline program recommends that you add about 5 to 10 years for that, but that'll at least give you a marker. The second we recommend is go to choosetosave.org. That's a great way to put some fundamental building blocks into place for building a retirement savings plan. The only thing that's guaranteed in life, as Benjamin Franklin put it best, is death and taxes.
Scott, let me
just need to plan for it.
Let me just jump in there for one moment because, you know, listen, we understand all these building blocks and we're fine with that, but here's the gist of it. I think the people we're talking about, they've heard all of these things before. They're trying to save, but what do you get in a savings account? They're afraid of the stock market. They don't own a home. I mean, for the average person out there, I mean, this is a stark reality. I mean, there's no way to change this, is there?
It is a stark reality, and I think that Americans need to start thinking outside of the box for non-traditional ways to supplement their retirement. Now, the first thing they should look at is how they want to retire, where they want to retire, and it's unfortunate that a lot of seniors feel they need to be bootstrapped to that house where their kids grew up and hope that they're going to come home and preserve some of those 1 or 2 times a year where the family all gathers around the dining room table.
Yeah, well, you know, President Clinton,
just
to cut in here, President Clinton did predict this, of course, that the baby boom was going to become a senior boom. And we know that you can't live off Social Security alone, but many people want to work. They want to work. They don't want to just sit around. So that's a factor, too.
Well, yeah, that's a factor, too. I mean, Scott, I know we're talking your book a little bit, and we'll segue into that now. The idea that, okay, if you're older and you own a home, you know, why don't you cash out or turn your house into some sort of a cash register? Although a lot of people think that sort of thinking led to the implosion of the economy in the first place.
Yes, and it's unfortunate because I think a lot of people did use that house as a savings account, got second and third mortgages on it, and it's no longer available. You know, one option that people should consider is a reverse mortgage. I know there's a lot of bad press about reverse mortgages, but they can be a godsend if they're used properly and people understand the fine print. Another opportunity is life insurance. You know, people have traditionally viewed life insurance as a liability, something they pay a premium for, and the only way to get any cash out of it is to surrender it with the life insurance company. A life settlement can pay up to 8 to 10 times more than what the insurance company will pay you for that if you just simply surrendered it as a cash value.